Manual rent collection is dead. Today we're going to discuss why every smart landlord is going digital and the best way to do this so that you can avoid the headache of chasing tenants down for rent. Stay tuned for later in this video for a look at the sponsor of this video, Baselane, the premier software platform for real estate investors. According to a recent report, 76% of renters would like to pay rent digitally. However, only 55% of them are actually able to do so. This is a huge issue. You may think collecting rent manually sounds simple. The tenant pays rent, then you deposit that rent. But in reality, it's anything but smooth. So first you have what I like to call the reminder phase. You're texting, emailing, and maybe even calling your tenant every month to remind them that the rent is due. Now, there are some tenants who are great. They're consistent and they'll pay every month. Others, not so much. They might wait till the 3rd, the 5th, or even the 10th to pay rent. Then you find yourself chasing down payments and wondering every month if you're actually going to get paid. And if you have more than one unit, then you're just multiplying the stress. The bottom line is this is not scalable and it's not passive income if you're spending every month doing the chase. Then the next problem is the method. So if they're mailing a check, you have to wait for it, then you receive it, then you drive it to the bank and you deposit it. That's gas and that's energy that you could be using to do something else. That's time you could spend growing your rental business. If the check bounces, that's more delays and more fees. The reality of it is every minute you spend waiting on a check is time you're not spending analyzing deals, time you're not spending networking with other investors or scaling your business. And that opportunity cost adds up. Now, there are some landlords who collect rent in cash or money orders, especially in certain markets. That means meeting up in person, coordinating schedules, and sitting down, counting up all the money orders and the bills like it's the 90s. And to be honest with you, that's inefficient and it's risky. You're walking around with hundreds and maybe thousands of dollars on you at a time, and it's very hard to keep a paper trail that way. If you're truly treating your rentals like a business, you gotta stop approaching it like a part-time bill collector. There's a better way to do this. Now let's talk about the issue of record keeping. When you're doing it manually, it's on you to track who paid, when they paid, and how much they paid. Maybe you're using a spreadsheet or maybe you're using a notebook. Either way, you're leaving room for lots of mistakes, trust me. And when tax time comes around and you need to figure out how to prove the proof of payment, I wish you all the best because odds are it's not going to be easy. And you really shouldn't be digging through old texts and screenshots to figure out who paid you on a monthly basis. Again, that's not how you build a scalable real estate business. Even if you only have 1 or 2 tenants, believe me when I tell you, it adds up. If you're managing multiple units and planning to scale, it's going to become unsustainable really fast. At that point, you're not just a landlord. You're a part-time bill collector, you're a reminder app, and at some points, you might even find yourself in the role of being a therapist trying to convince people why they should pay you on time. The bottom line is manual rent collection is inefficient, it's outdated, and it takes away time from the most important things like growing your business and honestly, your peace of mind. Now, if any of the things I'm talking about sound familiar, you're not alone. But the most important thing is you don't have to keep doing it that way. Now, this is where digital rent collection comes in. You know what I don't have time for? Chasing down rent payments every month, waiting on checks, reminding tenants, and manually keeping track of who paid. It's frustrating and honestly, it's just not the best use of my time. If you're someone pivoting from short-term to midterm rentals, trust me, you don't have time for that either. That's why I was excited when I came across Baselane. It's an all-in-one platform designed for landlords. And one of its best features, automated rent collection. No more back and forth, tenants pay online and the money goes right to your account. With Baselane, you can send recurring invoices, send automated payment reminders, and even apply late fees automatically. Tenants pay via credit or debit card. And if they enroll in auto pay, you'll never have to wonder if the rent is coming in on time. So if you're tired of the hassle that comes with collecting rent, Baselane makes it easy. It saves time, keeps things organized, and helps you focus on growing your portfolio instead of dealing with payment problems. Head over to baselane.com/Sam Real Estate to sign up for Baselane for free and get a $100 bonus when you fund an account. All right, now it's time to talk solutions because once you transition to digital, you're going to wonder why you ever wasted any time collecting rent manually. From the beginning of my real estate journey, I knew I did not want to spend every month chasing down tenants and trying to collect rent. I didn't want that stress on a month-to-month basis. I wanted things to be as simple as possible. I wanted a system that was clean, consistent, and hands-off, so I didn't have to worry about it on a month-to-month basis. If you're trying to grow your rental portfolio, your rent collection process cannot be something that's slowing you down. But here's what I noticed. Many landlords still default to manual rent collection. And it's not necessarily because it's better, for many, it's because that's what they've always done. And I understand. It's comfortable and it can make you feel like you're doing the work. But the reality of it is it takes you out of the role of investor and it turns out to be just more unnecessary busy work. Now, we've all heard there's a difference between being busy and being productive. Now, manual rent collection, chasing down tenants and checks and money orders and stuff, it's going to keep you busy, but it's not going to help you move forward. Digital rent collection, if you set it up right, helps you avoid all of those issues. You're not having to send reminders. You're not having to track anything in a spreadsheet. You're not wondering if a tenant's actually going to mail a check. It's there, it's ready to go, and can be done on the first of the month. And if it's not, you'll get notified right away and late fees will apply automatically. Now, it's about building systems, not building and adding more work to yourself. The more you automate, the more you can live your life. Now, I know for many of you, this all sounds great, but you might still be hesitant to consider digital rent collection. So I want to talk about the objections that I hear a lot and how we can work through each of those objections. If you want to get better at real estate investing and you're enjoying this video, make sure you hit the subscribe and like button. I'll greatly appreciate it. So the first concern I want to talk about is, what if your tenant is not tech savvy? And I'm going to be honest, it comes up a lot, especially when you're talking about elderly tenants or folks who've just never paid a bill online. And it's fair. Sometimes it's not even a tech problem. It's more so a familiarity problem. But the good thing is that most platforms are simple enough so that anyone who's ever paid a bill online can use it and understand it pretty easily. It might take as little as 5 minutes to walk them through how to set up auto pay if they want to do that, or how they can pay with the click of a button every month. And if they still choose another method at the end of the day, you can still log their payment inside of your system to keep you organized. Just to be clear, you're not trying to be a tech company or anything. You're simply providing a solution to make it easier for you and easier for the tenant on a month-to-month basis. The second concern I want to talk about is, what if the tenants do not trust online payments at all? This is absolutely understandable, especially for elderly tenants or folks who have maybe been scammed online and just don't trust paying anything online. It's understandable. That's why it's important to use a platform that looks and feels legitimate. So I'm talking bank level security, real-time receipts, and a clear payment process. Now, once people understand how safe and secure it is, that can help with some of that hesitation. Now, we all know trust is not built overnight, but a system that's reliable and looks good will help you earn the trust of a tenant who might be a little bit hesitant at first. All right, so here's a big one. What if the tenant insists on paying in cash? I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a tricky one. Some tenants operate mostly in cash for their day-to-day expenses and everything else that they have going on. But if I'm being honest with you, collecting rent in cash, it's risky and there is some potential liability there as well. So here's the way to get around that if you find yourself in a very tough position as a landlord. Money order or cashier's check. Now, you can have them mail in or drop off a cashier's check or a money order, and you can still log it digitally while continuing to show them the benefits of digital rent collection. So they wouldn't have to go to the bank or go to the post office. They wouldn't have to mail it in or drive and drop it off. They could do it from the comfort of their home. So it might take some time with some individuals. The second thing is, you can help them open a basic bank account if they don't have one. So if you build some trust with your tenant, you may want to consider accompanying them to a local credit union and assisting them with opening a bank account, or introducing them to a banker who can assist them in the process. They can get set up with an account that has no fees and learn how to start paying some bills online. So the beautiful thing about systems is that they give you some freedom. Even if you compromise for one tenant, you should never break your overall system. There should be a system for everything. I want to be clear. This is not about forcing technology on tenants. It's about making things easier, more professional, and consistent, and a better experience for you and for your tenants. The sooner you fix your rent collection issues, the faster your business can grow. And in my opinion, the real value of digital rent collection is the things that it frees you up to do. When you're not sending reminders, when you're not making calls, when you're not coordinating pickups or drop-offs of the rent, you can actually work on your business and not just in the business. You can analyze new deals. You can network. You could take a breath. You could take a vacation. You can hang out with your family. You can watch TV. You can do whatever you want. Time is precious. And with digital rent collection, you can get tons of time back every single month. And it's not just about time, it's also about energy. So when you're not carrying that stress every month, you show up better for everything else in your business. You have more time to problem solve. You have more time to think through strategy, or even think about making a pivot in your business as well. I'm telling you, if you are someone who does your rent collection manually, once you switch to digital, it'll change the way you think about your business, because you'll then be thinking about how you can systematize and optimize everything to get your time back. So I want you to ask yourself, if you're a current or aspiring landlord, are you building something sustainable, or are you simply trying to survive month to month and hope that rent comes in? Now, if you're someone who is collecting rent manually, or maybe you're an aspiring landlord who has considered taking rent manually, it's time to upgrade today. So whether you have one property or 10, you need your rent process to work without you. And what I mean by that is, it shouldn't take you going house to house or unit to unit collecting your money. You should be able to live your life and get the notifications on your phone through text or through email that the rent has been paid. That's what I want you to feel every month. So if you're ready to stop doing things the hard way, definitely be sure to check out Baselane at the pinned comment of this video. And here's one thing I want to leave you with. The best investors don't just invest in properties, they invest in systems. And the system we talked about today is one of the easiest wins you can get in real estate. I would love to hear from you. If you have questions or experiences collecting or even paying rent manually versus digitally, drop them in the comments. I would love to get your feedback. So now that you know about the best way to collect rent, I want you to learn about how to avoid homeowners insurance problems. Check out this video right here.